Today in the court of Judge Mills Lane. This drummer says the defendant booted him from his band because he was sleeping when he should have been performing.
He went to sleep on purpose, though. It's not like he just fell asleep.
But the plaintiff says the band hit a lot of sour notes.
We were not ready. Kaylee booked the gig already, and we had to do the gig. It sucked.
And the judge warns, don't try to fool him.
Mr. Acko, I'm a lot of things, but stupid is not one of them.
Stands tall, upright, never runs from a fight. He's America's judge. Knows what's right, knows what's wrong. Loves to say, let's get it on.
Let's get it on.
He's America's judge, and we love Judge Mills Lane.
Musicians from Hawaii are before the judge, but they won't be performing. The plaintiff, Kevin, used to be the drummer in the defendant's band, but after Kevin missed a few gigs, he was replaced. And he says the defendant still owes him money. The defendant, meanwhile, is countersuing. He claims Kevin ruined the band's reputation.
Okay, I really can't believe that this has happened. This defendant, Kaylee, was my friend for basically 6 years, and he screwed me over. Back in around September of '99, he asked me to be their drummer for their band. I told him I have a full-time day job from the get-go, and basically I told him not to book too many gigs back-to-back because my full-time day job is one that actually pays my bills, helps me buy good equipment. He agreed to this, he knew about this, and I became part of his band in September of '99. After a couple of gigs, there's more to it. I started noticing how Kaylee's attitude was a real problem. He likes to drink a lot, and when he drinks, he has a bad temper, and it reflects on everything that the band does. He used to demean us band members while we were playing. He almost tried to slap our guitarist, Gary, in the back of the head during the gig because he forgot to sing a backup part.
Well, how long did this occur before you became dissatisfied?
That was actually when he first started with it. I was still satisfied because I love to play the drums.
Okay.
And, you know, you try to overlook little things like this. We weren't ready for a lot of gigs. Our first gig, a very prominent club called The Wave in Waikiki, Hawaii. We've only had 13 days to come up with 3 hours worth of songs, 35 songs. We were not ready. Kaylee booked the gig already, and we had to do the gig. It sucked, basically, all honesty. I mean, we tried our best, but to get down songs tight, it was not possible to do such a thing.
No, wait a minute. You're telling me that you work as a drummer in this band.
Yes, Your
You have
Honor.
a full-time job. You don't, what I've been hearing now is you don't like the way you've been treated, you don't like the way he treats the other band members, and you don't like the fact that he requires things to be done too quickly. You're not making a point here. If you're just rambling on about stuff which is not pertinent, you're suing him because you say he owes you money.
Yes.
What does he owe you and why?
He exactly owes me $524
For what?
gigs, my past gigs that I played. I ended up being replaced in the band
Okay, why'd you get replaced?
because he decided to book 6 straight nights of gigs. And I would basically catch 2 to 3 hours of sleep per gig before I'd work my day job. I told him from the beginning not to book too many gigs.
Sir, my question was...
I missed the gig, Your Honor.
That's right. You missed the gig, so you got replaced.
Yes,
Okay, then why does he owe you money?
because he promised I did him a favor to fill out for the rest of the month while their new drummer was getting ready to be incorporated into the band.
Okay?
He promised to pay me for past gigs. At that time, he owed me and the rest of the band members approximately $500 each.
What does he owe you? Why does he owe you that, and what is your evidence?
Okay, the evidence is basically I had him sign a contract.
Let's see the contract.
That copy, Judge?
All right, we have a document here. Ask Mr. Aiko if that is his signature on the bottom of that piece of paper, please. Madam Bailiff.
Yeah, that's my signature.
Okay, the signature in this document, let me look at it real quick. Well, I want to know what this document, this has got to be one of the sloppiest pieces of whatever you want to call it.
It was a total last-minute situation, Your
Well,
Honor.
whatever, sir. I mean, you know, excuses are like behind. Everybody's got one and they all stink. Okay? Now, listen to me. Where does this say what he owes you? I can't...
Right there at the very bottom where I highlighted, Your Honor,
There's a lot highlighted here.
Anything that's crossed off for gigs that he actually paid me for. He promised to pay me for the rest of the gigs if I filled out my side with them and played the rest of the month with them. I found out I was being replaced. I could have walked away right then and there. But I decided to do him a favor and play the rest of the month, provided he paid me for past gigs.
The part that's highlighted is Kevin will be paid for the rest of his gigs when Kelly receives the checks from those past gigs. And Kevin will be paid in full no later than June 1, 2000.
I gave him 3 months.
3 months. Well, that doesn't tell me what you're owed. What is the figure?
$542.25, Your Honor.
All right, $542.25, and that is for the total amount that he owes you, plus service of process, plus the filing of the case, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Coming up, testimony continues in the battle of the bandmates.
Everybody in this band is basically left because they just can't handle working with this guy. He gets drunk.
Now, my understanding is that you have a video that you would like me to see also.
Yes, Your Honor. Can you please roll it?
Let's see the video, please. Okay?
Thank you very much. Okay, this is one of our last gigs. Everybody in this band is basically left because they just can't handle working with this guy. He gets drunk. His attitude's bad. He does not treat anybody good at all.
How long did you work in this band that he supervised or owned?
I played for 6 months. I did 70 straight gigs. I missed this one gig because I was exhausted. I could not stay awake any longer from my day job, night job.
Did you
he
call
decided
him up,
to go and replace me.
Did you call him up and say, hey, look, I'm beat, I'm bushed out, I can't make this last...
No, I didn't call him until I woke up, Your Honor. I thought I could make the gig. Okay, my body passed out from exhaustion.
So basically, you didn't show up?
Yes.
Okay, but you didn't call him and tell him you weren't coming?
No.
You just didn't show up?
I wanted to come, yes.
But you didn't show up?
Yes.
And the reason you didn't show up is?
I passed out from exhaustion from 6 straight nights of being only 2 to 3 hours of sleep.
Okay, you went to sleep, didn't wake up, didn't make the appointment.
Yes,
and he fired you.
I found out I was being replaced. Actually, I called another drummer to see if he could cover for me in case I got too many gigs again.
Okay.
Basically, I found out from the other drummer that I was being replaced in the band. Not from Kali'i.
Whatever, he replaced you?
Yes.
Okay.
But he wanted me to finish the rest of the month.
I understand that, and that's this document which you claim supports the proposition that you now owed $542.25, which is what's left on this document, plus the filing fee, plus service of process.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Acko, the first thing I want you to do is I want you to respond to his claim that he's owed money for stuff that he did after you let him go. Go ahead, sir.
Before I respond to that, could I wanted to play the CD for you. This is our CD.
Okay, sure.
Not with T-Bone in it.
Okay, let's play the CD, please.
Underneath my eyes, right behind my face, within the subtlety, within the subtlety.
Well, I'm not much of a connoisseur of music, but I thought that was okay.
Yeah, if you listen to that drummer, that guy's time was perfect. His tempo was really, really good, and this is the kind of guys that I'm used to playing with, you know, that I say, okay, by this certain time, we got to learn this many songs, and we got to be great on stage.
Respond, please, to his argument or his representation that you owe him money. Did you sign a contract?
See, yes, I signed that contract, but that was kind of a last-minute thing. We're already late to go on stage. And he comes down, he gives me this, he goes, I'll sign this, please. I'm like, what was this?
Madam Bailiff, he showed the gentleman, Mr. Acko, that contract. Now, that contract, tell me if I'm not correct, there are certain pieces of certain numbers, rather, lined out, which means you paid for those, correct?
Yeah.
So the only ones that you haven't paid for are the ones highlighted that aren't lined out.
Yes.
You can have it back. What that means, then, is that no matter when you sign this contract, what you did is, in the contract, it said that you owed certain monies, and you paid those monies.
Yep.
And then he lined that out to show that that had been paid. So you performed on this contract, at least most of it, but some of it you didn't pay, correct?
Yes.
Okay, then, tell me why you paid the first part on the contract and not the second and third and fourth part.
Okay, well, the first monies was, like, they're paid to us right away. The other checks were from the military, which takes about 2 or 3 months to get back to me. And then so, you know, I was waiting to get the checks to go and pay him.
Doesn't that mean that when you get the checks, you'll pay?
It should, but...
Well, that's exactly what it means, doesn't it?
Yeah, but
that means you owe.
Okay. He says he screwed up just 1 gig, but we had 5 gigs for that month in that same club.
How many times did he not show up? He claims he overslept 1 time.
Yes.
And that was the only time?
No, he went to sleep on purpose, though. It's not like he just fell asleep. He turned off his phone. He turned off his pager.
How many times?
He turned off his cell phone.
How many times did he not show up?
Just that once.
Just the 1 time?
Yep.
And you mean, and that's your basis of your $3,000 counterclaim?
No, because of that 1 time, we got fired from that club that we played 5 to 6 nights a month.
So,
per month.
Mr. Acko, I'm a lot of things, but stupid is not one of them.
Coming up, the judge puts the pieces together.
I'm able to pick up a couple of things. Let me tell you what I have a problem with. Suppose this man would have been playing in your band.
Yeah.
And would have come down with tonsillitis or with appendicitis or whatever, and got sick and couldn't come. Couldn't come for a medical reason. You mean to tell me that club would have fired you, would have run you off because one of your people couldn't come for a good faith reason?
It'll be a different thing if you had called or something, you know, some way to get in touch with them.
There's no question they should have called. But what I'm saying is you want me to believe that your band was run off of that club because of 1 missed appearance, and I have a hard time believing that.
Yeah, I've got it in writing.
Well, let's see.
They were hiring us 5 to 6 nights a month at a basic rate of $450 a night. It comes out to over $2,000 per month that I'm losing because of him. So I kept that money that was owed to him as just as a compensation for us.
I'll go ahead with your counterclaim then for $3,000.
All right, so because, like I said, because of T-Bone, we lost the rest of the nights that was in March, 3 more nights. That now, once I book the gigs, once it's all booked, I'm under contract to show up and play. If I don't play, like it can't. And that was the whole thing. And he knew from the beginning. He told me, oh yeah, man, I got a full-time job. I said, you want to do this, dude? If you want to do it, you know, you got to commit to it. You know, he knew from the beginning that we'll be playing a lot. I'm a working band. It's my job.
Let me ask you this. Suppose he would have called the day that he wasn't going to be able to make it. Would you have been able to get a drummer?
It would have been easy for us to pick somebody up.
You could have gotten somebody for that night.
I could have got somebody. So here we are, set up, all the rest of the band's there. The manager's on my ass. Sorry.
All right.
On my butt. Asking us what's going on. You guys got to go on in 10 minutes. Where's your drummer? I'm calling him and calling him. I'm calling every number I have for him.
How far away did he live from the club?
Oh, like 15 minutes.
You couldn't have sent a cab over?
I was already...
You couldn't have... Wait a minute. You're there an hour early. Now you're half an hour before showtime. The guy's not there. You say, hey, what the heck's going on? You go over there and rap on his door and say, get up, man. What's going on here?
Okay, see,
listen, hey, you.
That's not my...
Hey, hold a minute.
I apologize, sir.
Body English does nothing for me.
Okay.
Nothing. Go ahead.
See, it's not my responsibility to wake the band up.
No.
It's my responsibility to tell them, this is the nights we're playing. Be there at this time.
That's right.
And that's it.
Let me tell you what your responsibility is, sir. Your responsibility is to make sure the show goes on.
Yes.
Now, if somebody stands you up, then you have the right to say, you can't be relied upon and I'm going to run you off, and you're gone. But when you know that there's 30 minutes before showtime, and you tell the people to be there an hour ahead of time, they're not there, and he's 15 minutes away, and you can't get the phone because the phone's off the hook or the pager turned off or whatnot, I don't think that's tending the business. I think you should have gone over there and rattled his cage and got him up out of the bed. Now, did you, after you ran him off, after you told him he was not going to be able to cut anymore, did you ask him to stay on for 5 more times?
Actually, he and I were talking about that. He goes, when do you want me out? I said, just, finish up the month. This is what we already had booked.
So you told him to finish up the month.
Yeah.
And he did that.
Yeah.
And you signed this paper.
Yeah, but you know, I was kind of forced to sign that because we were already late. No, I'm serious.
You know what? I'm able to pick up a couple of things. Let me tell you what I have a problem with. You tell me, I asked you, I kind of set you up a little bit. I asked you, I said, suppose the guy calls you and says, I can't make it. Can you get another drummer? And you says, well, yes. Now you're saying, well, I couldn't get one. I needed him to stay for 4 or 5 more gigs. Now, either you could get another drummer or you couldn't.
I didn't need him to play 4 or 5 more gigs.
But you wanted him to.
Yeah, because the guy's still my friend. So I figured,
no.
Play.
Friendship is having some problems now. Did you want him to finish the month?
Kinda. I didn't.
You're beautiful, brother. And he finished the month, and you signed the paper. So what I'm gonna do now, so we can focus the issues. You will get judgment for $542.25. Judgment for the plaintiff. Now, I haven't ruled on the counterclaim yet.
Coming up, the last arguments before the final verdict.
They fired us because we were deemed unreliable.
Tell me why. Look me right here and convince me that I ought to award you something for, quote, missed gigs because of his conduct in not showing up one time. Convince me.
Because the club fired us because of that. Not because of my attitude or whatnot. They fired us because we were deemed unreliable.
I take it that you know Mr. Kelly Ackle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah.
Tell me what you know about this case of your own knowledge, ma'am.
Honestly, I don't know that much.
You know, you're the first, I will say the first, but you're at least an honest person. Most people get up there and they give me a line of crap.
I pretty much know both of them the same.
And so you don't know much about the case?
No, I don't.
Love you to death. You know what, I'll tell you right now, Mr. T-Bone or Prime Rib or...
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Whatever the heck it is. You know, in my view, sir, you let the band down. But you were intelligent enough to get yourself a signed piece of paper, which he's on the hook for, and I've already ruled that you will recover. You will recover the $542.25, even though I'll tell you, eyeball to eyeball, man to man, when you have an obligation, you fulfill it. When I was on the bench in Reno, Nevada, I used to have young people sometime your age. How old are you, sir?
34 years
Well,
young.
yeah, about your age, because everybody under 60 now is young to me. And they would come in generally for stealing stuff. And they always had an excuse. Most of them would say, well, gee, Judge, you know, I'm a thief, but I got this bad drug problem. And I'd say, look, Sonny, it's not drugs. It's not because you weren't breastfed, or your mama didn't change your diapers, or your daddy yelled at you. Man, it's you. So get off of that kick about, gee, I couldn't do it because I had this, I had that, dipper-dapper-do. That's not going to get it. You, sir, you have not convinced me. I am unconvinced that your band was canned from all of these, quote, gigs, quote, because of the conduct of this man because of one time. Your counterclaim, and that you cannot prevail. Counterclaim is...
Whoa. Wait, Judge. My claim is valid, man. I got this loss of wages thing going on that...
You know what? Your
every
claim,
month.
in your mind, your claim is the most valid lawsuit that ever came down the pike. But I am the kindly old judge, and I say your claim is not valid. You lose.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So the plaintiff goes back to Hawaii with his money. He wins. The defendant loses his countersuit. And now, a preview of the next Judge Mills Lane.